Morning. Last week we just finished a 1 month practice period, and there's a student, or Shuso is the head student for the month, and the student, Zen Man is his name, and he took us through a 1 month of practice. So we're kind of getting back to regular schedule. The last couple of days, walking to the meditation hall, like yesterday morning, and then yesterday evening, I've been looking at the stars outside, and how when I look up and there's no trees around, I can see the stars, and they seem really close, but I think they're like light years away, and but there's something about their the vibrancy of the stars, and this morning it was foggy this morning, and the light from the fog is it's like white, and it's because of probably the light that is illuminated within the drops of the fog in the air, which it makes it kind of a pure white. But just to notice these subtle qualities, and actually that's what brings us here together, is noticing the subtle qualities of our life that actually replenish ourselves very deeply, but we don't know what it is. But that's what brings us here, and we're extremely fortunate to come here, or to cross actually a Dharma path in this lifetime, or actually you would say in this moment, or in this week, or in this month, or in this lifetime. It's extremely rare to come across the Dharma and the practice. So of course we all come to this practice through different ways, maybe health, or mental health, or trying to learn about Zen, but why we come here is to actually is to learn that the greed, anger, and ignorance, we shouldn't feed our greed, anger, and ignorance. And when we don't feed our greed, anger, and ignorance, then we can see we can see the stars in the sky. But the greed, anger, and ignorance still exists, but then there's a cognitive lucidity. There's a very clear seeing, in which we know then what is the truth, or what is real, and actually what is not. So the silence and the stillness is really important to come back and to feel oneself, just to feel yourself actually seated right now, is actually really, really extremely important. And a lot of times we don't trust where we are. We trust this, the thinking mind that makes us look outside, and we reach far away from ourselves and try to be that, or be something else, or be somewhere else. So, and of course, the Zen Center is no different than everywhere else. The other day, I had these two, the son of Marion Gibson and his wife Carrie. They came from Colorado to spread Marion's ashes, and Marion was a member, right? She was a member, and then she received a jukai, which is the lay precepts, or Buddhist precepts. She received them in 80. I looked it up this morning. It's 86, or was it 86 or 88? 86 or 88, and of course, the week before, we were trying to schedule when they would come, and it wasn't quite fitting with my schedule, and so I was, doing work on Thursday, and on the computer, of course, and I think it came 10:30, and then they didn't show up. They weren't here yet, and I was kind of wondering where they are, and then I was wondering how little time that I have to see them, and so I went out of the cabin and was walking to the office, and then right around the corner, then I saw them standing there, and then they were talking to Kashin, and I was all, oh, like, you're here, and it was such a wonderful meeting with them, and they're connected to the Dharma through their mother, of course, and through Andy's mother, and Marion passed away in 2018, and she had ashes, and she wanted Andy to spread some of her ashes here. So then we walked down to Suzuki-roshi's stupa, and the stupa is a memorial site, and actually everyone should go down there and see it. It's the ashes of Shunryu Suzuki-roshi, Kwong-roshi's teacher, is underneath this huge rock, and it's maybe like 10 minutes walk down. But we scattered her ashes. Actually, we dug a small hole and then put her ashes inside. But it was just such a wonderful. It just something happened. It was such a wonderful visit, and I think it was because they were so open, and of course it's Andy's mother, so he was really, it was a great loss for Andy, and then his wife Carrie, and she came and sat here a lot in the 80s and practiced here, and her jukai name is I think it's morning lotus, and so we walked down to the stupa, and then we were just together, but a lot of it was in silence. And we could notice each other's footsteps, breathing, a movement of each body, or then we went down to the stoop, and then we circumambulate. So we walked around the Suzuki-roshi's stupa 3 times. and they forgot to bring a picture of Marion, so uh, he had a picture of Marion on his phone. So we put the phone down, and then we offered incense, and it was just so I think it was something that was very, very pure and very truthful about it. That reminded me how much I could be caught up in my own, you would say greed, anger, and ignorance, and then so far away from seeing the stars in the sky. Many times the stars are out. The stars are shining, always shining. You know, it could be in the glass, it could be in the cup, or could be in how you open a door, could be in how you hit a golf ball, or you know. But the shining of the light that exists in all animate and also inanimate objects. But that's if we intuit it and we sense it, and then we give something space, and the space that we give it then is this wisdom that comes up, and it's basically seeing things as they are. And seeing things as they are, or we could see or feel, we could feel the direct experience of this thing dying, or this thing also arising, or this thing dying. You know, so it's everything that's arising, or it's actually dying. So, and then that's a true proof that then there is no self, and then there is no separation between, you would say, me and the stars. But when you look at the stars and really look and feel the stars, or kind of sense, or this is a knowing, it's a wisdom, then that's when when we're connected. Yeah. And during the ceremony, we would talk about they would talk about Marion. I would just say like who she was, and but everything and everyone has their own story, and when you're able to listen to the story, then there's a wisdom that shines when we listen through our eyes, nose, and tongue, body, mind. When we listen, or when we see, or when we touch, or when we feel, it's a different way of living that once you encounter it, or once you walk into this way of practice, I think there's no way of going back, and you cannot turn your back, and it's almost like it's frightening. Everyone in here saying, "I could turn my back. I'm going to leave today," but you take it wherever you go. This is one body. You know? But it's a beautiful thing, is to commit to it. It's a beautiful thing to commit. It's actually the only thing that we can do. So kind of her the ashes ceremony made me look into this writing by Dogen. It's called the Hachidainen Gaku, and it's the eight awakenings of the Buddha, or the eight great awakenings, and that's the Buddha wrote these kind of instructions for people when before he passed away, and then Eihei Dogen, who is the founder of the Soto Zen School, he then rewrote these writings that the Buddha wrote. So I'm just going to go through these writings. This actually, this translation is the eight truths of a great human being. So this is us, the eight truths of the great human being. Hachi means eight. Dainen means great human being, and that's us as a Buddha. And Gaku means an intuitive reflection or truth. This is kind of an interesting one because last week I gave a talk on intuition or sensing and intuition, and then I used the term, I turned it and said, when you go into it, you're sensing, or you're becoming one with it. When you go into it, you could say situation, into subject object, into yourself. You could go into yourself, or you could go into yourself. So when you go into it and there's sensing, then you cannot help but then cover this ground of the universe, which is limitless and inconceivable for our thinking mind. Intuitive reflection or truth. And the Buddha, so he talked or gave these eight truths to the assembly of where he was practicing. And then Eihei Dogen rewrote the same chapter, and he this was at, I believe this was at Eiheiji. Yeah, this is written at Eiheiji, which is kind of the main temple for Soto Zen in Japan. Buddhas are great human beings. The Dharma the great human beings realize is therefore called the eight truths of a great human being. To realize this Dharma is the cause of nirvana. It was the last preaching or teaching of our original master Shakyamuni Buddha on the night that he entered nirvana. So the first one is shoyoku, is to have few desires. You should know that people of abundant desire abundantly seek gain, and so their suffering also is abundant. People of small desires are being free of greed, free of seeking, free of desire, free of this infliction. So you should practice and learn to have small desires just for itself. The second one, And these, the second one is to be satisfied actually with what you have, and a lot of times we're not satisfied. Well, it's just the other night. We brought Kashin, my wife. She brought leftovers home from the Zen Center, and we're gonna make fried rice. But I had this idea about the fried rice, and the rice was Indian. And when I smelled it, I said, inside I totally had an aversion to it. I said, this is not fried rice. And I was totally angry. And it was totally ridiculous, But at that moment, then what you do is you give it space. And then you say, yes, have few desires, or you should be satisfied with whatever situation that you have, and then you should face it, and then work with it. And it's just ridiculous. The self makes this idea of how it should be, but it's not that. There was another time when I think I was going on a trip, and I think I was going out of the country, and so I got in my car, turned the ignition on, the car wouldn't start. And I was all like, then Ten-san came up, he's a member, and he's all, what's going on? He's all, my car is not starting, and this can't be, it can't be true. He's all, it's true. It's true. And then I tried to start it again. I was all, damn, it won't start. So it's just these situations that are very small, but it turns into then how you can live your life. These are very, very simple things, but it's so true. So being satisfied with a car that doesn't start. To enjoy tranquility, to pursue tranquility and unintentional peace and joy, you should depart from noise and live alone in seclusion. So he talks about actually, that's why people go hiking, or they go to the ocean, live in seclusion. He talks about the forests. For this reason, we should abandon our own groups. Groups are conditioned groups, and it could be the groups you hang out with or we hang out with, and live alone in an empty space and think of dissolving the root of suffering. So number 4 is to practice diligence. I'm making a diligent effort, or it's a ceaseless effort to endeavor to perform goodness. But a lot of times when we have an effort, or we make a diligence, maybe it could be for our own satisfaction. It could be for our own satisfaction, which is, you could say it's a desire. Or you could say we're making effort at our work because we're dissatisfied. So to make an effort, how do we make an effort towards something without losing being connected? So actually all these, the 8 awakenings, actually inside each awakening has the 8 inside of them. So it's actually 64 within these. Practice diligence, nothing will be difficult. For this reason, you should practice diligence as a trickle of water that constantly flows is able to drill through rock. If the mind of a practitioner often tires and quits, that is like a person twirling a stick to start a fire and resting before it gets hot. Although wishes to obtain fire, fire is unobtainable. This is called diligence. So I think the next two, then these these four that I talked about have to do with actually taking the precepts. So it's the sila, it's actually the Buddhist precepts. So there's the three. The first four is the Buddhist precepts, and then the second two, it's under a group of meditation, which is not to lose mindfulness. So it's to keep the Dharma and not to lose it is called right mindfulness, and it is also called not to lose mindfulness. Those who seek good counselors and seek their good auspices, there is nothing like not losing mindfulness. If people possess the ability to not lose mindfulness, the bandits of the afflictions are unable to invade them. For this reason, you constantly should regulate thoughts and keep them in their place in the mind. So not only in the mind, but it's in your body, speech, and mind. So it could be how you open a door. So being mindful of maybe grabbing the door handle and then opening up the door. How do you open up the door? Do you feel the knob, or are you mindful of opening up for somebody else? Or are you mindful of how you actually meet the door or intuit the door? So this mindfulness has to do with you could say it's your body, speech, and mind is actually mindful is becoming actually intuitive. It's the entire world is actually mindful. When you open up the door, yourself appears. So this could be mindfulness is the world is the door, then the world becomes the door. So actually you're opening up the door to the world. So it could be putting on your glasses, it could be brushing your teeth. So this is all part of practice, and then coming back to your life as it unfolds. The next is Shuzenjo, is practicing samadhi. To regulate the mind will then exist in a balanced state. Because the mind exists in a balanced state, you will be able to know the Dharma form of the arising and vanishing of the world. So this is what I was just talking about. For this reason, you constantly should be diligent in practicing all forms of balance. When a person gets the balanced state, the mind does not dissipate. Practitioners are also like that. For the sake of the water of wisdom, we attentively practice the balanced state of samadhi. and prevent the water of wisdom from leaking away. This is called the balanced state. And this is the seventh, is to practice wisdom. To engender hearing, thinking, practice, and experience is called wisdom. If you people have wisdom, then you will be without greed and attachment. By constantly reflecting on and observing yourself, you will prevent yourself from being lost. This is just to be able, within my Dharma, to attain liberation. If you are not so, already you are different from people of the truth and also different from those clothed in white. There is nothing to call you. Truly, wisdom is a sturdy ship in which to cross the ocean of aging, sickness, and death. Again, it is a great bright torch for the darkness of ignorance. It is a good medicine for all sick people, and it is as sharp as an axe to fall the trees of anguish. For this reason, you should hear, consider, and practice wisdom, and thereby develop yourself. If a human being possesses the light of wisdom, he or she is although with eyes of flesh, a human being of clear vision. That is called wisdom. And the last one is, do not engage in idle discussion in which your mind will be disturbed. So this idle discussion, he talks about, of course, this is to all the monks and nuns at Eiheiji, but although you have left family life, or you could say you have left your conditioned self, still you will be unable to get free. For this reason, you people should immediately throw away disturbing idle discussion. So idle discussion results in discrimination of what is good or bad, what is right or wrong, or what is pleasant or unpleasant. If you wish to attain the joy of serenity, you should just inhibit well and fault of idle discussion. This is called not to engage in idle discussion. So these 8 truths of a great human being, each is equipped with the 8, and so there may be 64. When we extend them, they may be countless. If we abridge them, they are 64. They are the last teachings of the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha. These teachings, or this teaching, is the Tathagata's right Dharma, eye treasury, and fine mind of nirvana. While the Tathagata's right Dharma is now still permeating the great 1,000-fold world, while the immaculate Dharma has not yet disappeared, we should learn it without delay. Do not be slack or lazy. Do you have the time?
11:44.
11:44. Yeah, maybe. think I stopped there. But if maybe anyone has any questions or comments, maybe anyone wants to add anything or say anything.
Andy's not a young person.
He's not a young person.
Not a young person. And comes here with his ashes of his mother. I just wanted to point out that our mothers are an important part of our lives, throughout our lives. Even after life.
Yeah.
We have a chance to take our life seriously.
Yeah.
And that's perhaps one of the greatest.
Yeah, it reminded me how we're also interconnected and interdependent on each other, and actually for this practice we are. So that's what's very important, and her death made me realize something in that moment or now or in this lifetime made me realize my life, her death. And so this interdependency of this life in death, or this, you would say, this giving birth, or this mother giving birth to life is another one. So I mean that's a whole
Another chapter.
Yeah, it's a whole nother chapter, but you know what? We don't have a whole nother chapter to go. This is it. And we only have this. This is our final chapter, and we're all going towards the end. But the end is the beginning.
It's so interesting. It's been said that all of us have been each other's mother at some point. And if you haven't been yet, you will be. So actually, yes, your biological mother passed away. There's a certain strong connection there. And you for sure meet her again.
Yeah.
But actually, right in here, there's like 50 mothers.
Yeah.
So because that's we learn that's the true mother is the Kanseon, right? It's like I remember it made a really big impression on me when I had Dokusan with Roshi, and I don't know my biological mother. I was found on the street, and then before the Zen Center, I was in Korea and trying to find my mother, and I told Roshi that I didn't find her. And then he was quiet for a little while. I said, "What do you mean? You did find her?" So I did. And he said, "Yes, because it's Kanseon." And then I spontaneously wept. And so that mother is that the bosom of that mother that we should return to. All the other biological mothers, they're very small.
I want to add to that. Sisters are important too. And my sister's ashes are in Suzuki-roshi's ashes tomb as well.
That's good.
I put them there, and I feel very strongly about that. When you mentioned that, it brought back that memory.
Yeah.
Which is really important.
Okay, thank you.